Greetings and salutations. Hello, how are you? My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz. It is the incredibly creatively and appropriately named, now somewhat charitably award-winning Query and Schultz program here on the ISC Sports Network. On this episode, what are we up to, Derek?
62.
Did you look up a 62?
I did. And
Mark McGwire?
This is a deep cut. No, because we did Roger Maris, so I was like, I don't want to do the home run thing. But when you think of 62 in sports, you think of that record,
Yeah,
right?
that's
You're not going to get this one, but he played for the Pacers and
Okay,
wore
hold
this
on,
number
hold on.
as he played for the Pacers. But
Hang
with
on.
no one else that he played for did he wear this number. A very eccentric
Scott Pollard.
guy, yes.
Yeah.
Scott Pollard episode. He wore 62 as a Pacer.
Okay. I always thought that in the NBA that you couldn't have players like that all the numbers had to be on one hand so that when they called like a foul in, you know, they could say like foul 3-4, you know, whatever. And then that changed a couple of years ago.
Really?
Like in the beginning,
Yeah?
I say in the beginning, but for a long time there, if you had a two-digit number, both digits had to be a single digit. Isn't that right?
I don't know. I've never heard that before.
So
You might be right. I've never heard that before. That makes sense. That's to make it easier on referees.
Well, I don't know, though, because a single digit.
Wasn't Ron Artest 91 at one point?
So I guess, you know,
So
Dr. J
9,
was 6, so.
1. So personal foul, 9-1.
Yeah, but like.
Yeah, but 6.
Yeah, I mean.
6. Well, yeah, just do it with two hands and then the other hand, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess that works. One Scott Pollard memory. My first job, this was like my second or third internship, but my first job working in a pro locker room was for WIBC and your buddy Kevin Lee.
Right.
As a senior at Indiana, my job was to get audio from the locker room. So I go in there, and the first time it's a surreal experience because Reggie Miller's there. And I grew up hating Reggie Miller because I grew up a rabid Knicks fan.
Right.
And I'm kind of standing there. I'm just like, oh, my God. A completely naked Scott Pollard sprints out of the shower and into the locker room and does like 2 laps and then runs back. And I was like, okay, so this is an NBA locker room now.
What was did he have shoes on?
I think he might have had, they wear slides sometimes or flip-flops, whatever, but I don't remember there being any article of clothing. You know, he used to paint his fingernails. I mean, he's an interesting dude.
Doesn't Scott Pollard spell Scott with one T?
Yes. And he's still here. He and his wife,
nice dude.
He's a realtor, I believe.
Yeah, nice
so
guy.
super nice guy. Great guy. But a total character.
No question about that. This will be, of the 61 previous episodes, this being number 62, Derek, it will be a next segment when we will officially award it. But when we do our Indiana Members Credit Union Player of the Week, for that matter, when we do our Winners Drink Milk Winner of the Week from the American Dairy Association of Indiana, and when we do our WGU Indiana Sage Move of the Week, they all might incorporate the same person and the same decision, and that was Frank Reich deciding in Buffalo, we are going to ride our horse, and Jonathan Taylor with an unbelievable performance.
Yeah, you jump out to a big lead like that, then it's much easier to go ahead and do that. But, man, 5 touchdowns. For a non-quarterback, if you have any game where you score 5 tud, I mean, that is...
When you first started trying to be hip with
that's
these terms,
incredible.
It was tutty.
Yeah, no, that's past. That's kind of like last year. Actually, that's more like 2019 tutties, for being honest.
Now it's tuds.
Yeah. Tud bomb is another kind of variation of that. But, yeah, 5 tuds for Jonathan Taylor. It's a common term. It's for touchdown. People already know that, but you make me clarify everything on this show.
Tud bombs.
Yeah.
Okay. I went to White Castle once, had a tud bomb, right?
Why do you have to be gross? We're talking about this like happy, amazing thing, and you have to.
That's not being gross.
You're
at
talking about poo.
No, that's no.
That's what you want to go with.
No.
Tud bomb.
There's no. That's not at all what I meant by that.
You said you went to White Castle,
right?
And then you had tud bombs afterwards.
No, well, though, like tud bomb means like a gut bomb, like you feel it in your stomach. Like, oh, my stomach.
Yes, and what alleviates that gut bomb?
No, just time.
Well, time sitting on the
You're the one going there.
I've had White Castle before, man. I know what that's like.
It is good. Jonathan Taylor, Derek, this was a simple formula that just worked, and that was they incorporated him into the offense. I looked it up yesterday. There were 2 seasons since the Colts have moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis. They have had 2 seasons, 1991 and 1993, where their season touchdown leader had 5 touchdowns for the year.
Yeah.
Jesse Hester in 1991, Rodney Culver in 1993.
Well, in 1991, they scored 3 touchdowns the entire year, I think. So it's not really a surprise.
So in 1984, when the Colts moved here, Randy McMillan led the Colts in rushing touchdowns with 4 for the season. Jonathan Taylor had 4 rushing touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah.
This was a –
He had 5 touchdowns in 3 quarters.
Yeah.
In 3 quarters he did it. I mean, it was incredible. And we keep saying it, and everybody knows, like, you don't have to be like all 22 film football doink to know that he's just different. He's special. And we talked a couple of weeks ago about how Derrick Henry was up here and then everybody else, there was a gap. I know Henry's been hurt, in fairness to him, but there's not a gap, and not anymore, especially with Taylor's now ability to catch the ball too.
Well, speaking of Derrick Henry, the Titans yesterday losing in a crazy game against the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Weird weather, Ryan Tannehill's throwing picks. Derrick, the AFC, the Colts right now, I mean, they're healthy. They still have a bye upcoming to get even healthier. Mm-hmm. They're playing really well. Now, I think the division is probably too far gone because they're basically 3 back. Tennessee's magic number is 4. But where the Colts yesterday, the positive for the Colts was Jonathan Taylor's performance and, of course, winning a huge game in Buffalo and doing it in decisive fashion. All those things are good. There's really no negative that can be taken at all. If there is a negative that had to be found, it would be after the game if you flipped over and caught the last minute of Baltimore and Chicago and you see Baltimore score a touchdown at basically on the final drive of the game to win in the closing seconds of that game, that's another AFC team in that wild card traffic jam.
Yep.
And the Colts have been in the right lane trying to merge over now for a while. You got yesterday Cincinnati beating Las Vegas. Does that help the Colts? Maybe a little bit, but Cincinnati's another team that's going to be
was
right
one of those help you, hurt you
Right.
games because you had 2 teams you're going against.
Technically speaking, the Colts would have preferred for the Steelers to have beaten the Chargers because there's a tie in there. So
yeah, it's going to be stupid.
But
I hate ties.
Either way, the Steelers you kind of feel like are sliding backwards. The Chargers are the one you probably wanted to have a loss tacked on. But the good news for the Colts, Derek, is a lot of these teams that are in that AFC logjam, a lot of them are going to cannibalize each other because they're going to face each other a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you still you have to pass
the Chiefs, the Raiders.
You have to pass Cincinnati and you have to pass LA, essentially, and both of those teams are facing other teams that are in that mix, like Denver and Vegas and Pittsburgh, who you mentioned. I think the only thing that's worrisome right now about the AFC playoff picture, because everyone's beatable and vulnerable, and there's just not a great team. Like, if there was a great team in the AFC, we would have seen it by now. And even Tennessee, with their gaudy record, we knew that wasn't a great team. The only thing that's worrisome is that maybe Kansas City has stemmed the tide and started to figure out, because I wouldn't be scared with the Colts going to Buffalo. I wouldn't be scared with the Colts going to Nashville. I wouldn't be scared with the Colts going to even New England.
That's fair.
Honestly. And it sounds crazy to say that. I'd be scared to death going to Arrowhead and Patrick Mahomes, though.
The one thing the Colts need to continue doing until teams figure out a way to stop it is get this guy the football. I mean, honestly, Jonathan Taylor is a special, special talent. And when whether it's between the tackles or just finding space, I mean, you saw the receiving touchdown he had where, he's spinning and he's contriving and, this guy's good, man.
Yeah, look, I agree with all of that, but I still think a lot of this narrative about, Taylor's being ignored. No, he's not. He's second in the NFL in touches.
Well, yeah. Look, the last game, I can't remember what game it was, and people were like, they didn't give him the ball.
It was the Tennessee game. The Tennessee game is where a lot of that criticism came from.
But he carried the ball 11 times in the
Jets
fourth quarter. I think it was maybe the Jets. No, who did they play just before?
Jacksonville and then the Jets.
Jacksonville.
Okay.
The Jacksonville game, he had 11 carries in the fourth quarter. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, they were giving him the ball.
They weren't going anywhere anyway. I mean, with it, I don't know. I think the criticisms about Reich and play calling, I think a lot of that has been grossly overblown this year. I think for the most part he's done the right things far more than the wrong things.
The right things.
Well, yeah, I guess you can say it that way. But this whole talk, it's kind of like people are talking out of both sides of their mouth, because the same people that are like, well, you got to run the damn ball and it's got to be Taylor, are also the ones that are staunch defenders of Carson Wentz. And it's like, well, if Wentz is as good as you say, don't you want to trust him
Derek,
sometimes?
I thought Wentz yesterday didn't make mistakes, and he made a huge play for them. That run that he had to extend a drive when he ducked out of the pressure and took, and realized where the opening was and took off.
Yeah.
Wentz made good plays yesterday.
Some games you don't need him, and you didn't need good quarterback play yesterday. So you're right. He didn't make any bad plays per se.
Maybe you didn't need good quarterback play, but you certainly wouldn't have used bad one.
I think you made a really good point on your radio show, which I listened to, where you asked Jeff Saturday, I think it was the first question that you asked him, this is exactly who the Colts want to be, right? And he completely agreed with you. And this is what they are built to be. Now, you're not going to get 185 games and 30-plus carries every game with Jonathan Taylor. Right. It's not always going to call for that. But what you want to do is jump out to a lead and then sit on it and just pulverize them physically. And that's exactly what they did with Buffalo yesterday. Buffalo could not play trailing, and they really hadn't all year.
Buffalo looked befuddled, right? I mean, where they were just like, what is going on here? And they were just, they didn't know what to do.
You had some bounces go your way, a kick returner falling on his own and fumbling it right to you. I mean, them's the breaks, but I thought Josh Allen, who, by the way, was the Vegas MVP favorite going into yesterday, I thought he was terrible.
Okay, so
he was awful.
The MVP race right now, Jonathan Taylor's entered the party, right?
Of course, because who else is there? You have to give out the award.
Kyler Murray.
But with the injury, now you're taking away games. Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers.
Matt Stafford, who was kind of that, and then he had a really bad game. What was it, in San Francisco, I think?
Did you watch the Pittsburgh Charger game?
No, Jake. I don't have a daily radio show anymore, so my viewing is limited to the Colts, or does this impact the Colts? That's what my viewing is limited to.
The Indianapolis Colts are 3 games back, essentially, for their division.
Yeah.
They are in the right-hand lane of an interstate that has a traffic jam in the middle lane of wildcard teams.
So like I-65, basically.
They're very slowly creeping over.
Also
right?
like I-65, yeah.
And they're looking to see if somebody's going to wave them in. And they're inching. Right now there are 2 cars that they're inching between to see if they're going to wave them in. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Los Angeles Chargers, who played last night. Our hero here says that he doesn't watch games because they didn't impact the Colts.
Since when did you change? See, this is the thing.
Glued to the TV.
You dump me for your new best friend, Kevin Bowen, and now suddenly you're like consuming like 80 hours of NFL football per week.
No. Kidding aside.
That's exactly what's happened.
Kidding aside, because you're right. I have never watched a lot of games. You are right. But that finish was amazing.
Yeah, I did. I was kind of following along on Twitter. All
of a sudden it was just like, what?
I was folding laundry.
To your point, it was over, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, there were like 3 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Sure.
Chargers
and I saw the Cam Hayward play, the dirty play on whatever quarter that was, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter. And sure, it does affect the Colts in the sense that these are 2 wildcard teams, but by the time I'm kind of looking at these games as it's sort of a win-win because somebody has to lose. Yes, also somebody has to win, but you're right, Jake. The Colts are going to control, unlike 2 weeks ago when they were the 9th team in a 9-team race, they're now the 3rd team basically in a 9-team race, and everybody else is still going to cannibalize each other.
It looks like the Colts, Derek, I mean, they're peaking at the right time, right?
And this is so weird to say, but they've really benefited by who they've lost to. Because if we're to assume that they lose to Tampa, and let's throw the Cardinals in. So let's say the Colts lose 2 more games. They're 10-7. They're going to win every tiebreaker that there is because they'll be 9-3 against AFC teams.
Right.
Because they'll be 1-4 against the NFC. So that it actually, in a weird way,
who do they play?
It benefits you.
Who do the Colts play to finish the season?
Vegas, New England, Arizona, another game against Houston, another game against Jacksonville, and then Tampa. 6, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but Tampa's next.
Yes.
I'm saying who are they playing in the final week of the season?
Oh, the final week of the season
Yes.
is Jacksonville. In Jacksonville.
Because they could have gotten a huge break if it's Arizona. When do they play Arizona? If Arizona's got everything wrapped up.
They play Arizona on Christmas.
If Arizona has everything wrapped
Yeah.
up, is it possible they're playing against Colt McCoy and
Didn't they play Arizona on Christmas in 05?
that sounds right.
Yeah? Okay, Jake remembers that game too. I was like, wait a minute, Arizona and Christmas.
That sounds
That's a
right.
random memory to have.
Where is it this year?
Yeah, it's there. It's at
Okay.
Arizona, I think.
Have you been
They're
there?
home for Tampa. They're at Arizona. Home for New England.
Home for the Raiders too, right?
They're not at Vegas? Okay, yeah, no, they're home for the Raiders. Let's just look at this schedule, okay? It'll take me 2 seconds.
It's all
to
right
do
here,
this.
and we got to double check this stuff.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. 800 hours of NFL viewing per week now.
I got
All
the
right,
red zone now, Derek.
Let's read the schedule here, okay? Ready? Bucks at home,
Yep.
at Houston, late bye weeks
I know.
December 12th.
I know.
New England home, Arizona road. So they basically rotate home and road from here on out. No more home stands, no
Okay.
more road games. Home road, home road, home road, Raiders, Jags at the end of the year.
The Raiders is
Raiders home, Jags road.
okay, but they got the tough games. They
Which you
at
have
home.
to prepare for a loss in Jacksonville. So they have to have already won their 10th game by the time they go to Jacksonville.
We have a lot to get to, and it's not all Jonathan Taylor, right?
No,
We do have other things to get to today.
A huge weekend for Purdue sports.
Yep.
With a big football win, 2 huge basketball wins. Indiana as well with a really nice win over St. John's. We'll get to that. And a special in-studio guest.
Nice.
Coming your way later today. We'll tell you all about it when we return. It's Corey and Schultz just getting started here on the ISC Sports Network.
It's here. The moment that will define you. So think of this moment as your moment. The one you've been waiting for. You were built for it. And so were we. WGU, the online university where ambition never rests.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Welcome back. It's Corey and Schultz, rolling right along here on ISC Sports Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. Our friends at Bailey & Wood Financial Group bring you this segment of the show, BAWFG.com.
You got it.
855-350-HOME. Whether you're looking to refi or get that coveted pre-approval, if you're in the housing market.
You ready?
What are you doing? Why'd you lick your fingers? I think it's so gross when people do that. Like when they're reading pages. It's like, ugh, like gross. Strong.
Yeah, not as good.
Weaker,
Yeah, went
weaker,
down a little
muffled.
bit there. Now the pressure's on.
Oh boy, yeah. Well, I got to be worried about. I mean, mid-50s is usually when arthritis starts to pop up. So we got to be a little bit
Derek,
careful there.
let me just tell you this right now.
Enjoy that snapping while you can, my friend.
Let me tell you something. Arthritic knuckles and limiting my ability to snap entering into my 50s, the way I closed my 40s is of little concern.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No question.
Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, of course, right here. One of the things we love about it, Derek, on this program, one of the things that I most enjoy is that our sponsors are local Indiana-centric all of them across the board, and that's what I absolutely love. And Bailey and Wood is right there with it. Family-owned business.
Yeah, and they either have Indiana in their name, like Indiana Members Credit Union, which we'll get to, by the way, or in their slogan, Indiana's mortgage lender. Bailey and Wood Financial Group. 13, speaking of Indiana, 13 in-state branch locations for Bailey and Wood Financial
Jeff
Group.
Saturday does
Yeah.
deals for them. They should get T.Y. Hilton as well.
Yeah, I agree.
13.
I've asked Mike. Mike's a longtime friend, and he's been great supporting the show. I said, hey, I have just a ton of experience acting and commercials and all of that, so I am willing to be in any one of your Bailey and Wood commercials.
What acting experience?
And
do you
he
have?
never has followed up on that.
I
with
wonder
me.
why. What acting experience? You could play the little kid that tries to snap the football with Jeff
I
Saturday.
was an extra in the movie Ice Storm from 1996.
Ice
Christina
Storm.
Ricci, Elijah Wood. Ever heard of him?
He's
Sigourney Weaver.
Is Elijah Wood the fellow with the hairy feet like you?
Yes, he was in Lord of the Rings as well. Yep.
You were an extra.
Yes.
What did you do in the extra?
I stood there and wore a coat. I was a school child 17.
Ice Storm was the name of the movie?
Ice Storm.
Let's
yes.
see what kind of reviews this gets.
Got great reviews. I think it may have been up for Best Picture.
I'm sure
I think it might have.
Where were they filming
All-Star
this?
cast. New Canaan, Connecticut.
And how did you get the gig?
Our neighbor was the casting director.
Oh, well, that certainly helps.
But I still had to do the regular stuff. I had to submit a headshot. I had to read lines. So I had to do everything.
They
They
read lines?
They said we're really impressed with you. I mean, Jake, I could have easily
lines.
been school child 21, which you could barely even see on camera. I was school child 17 at my desk, and you could actually see my face.
This movie was in 1997. It gets 7.4 out of 10 stars on
Hell
whatever.
yeah.
In suburban New Canaan, Connecticut, 1973.
Yes, but I was not
Middle-class
alive in
families
1973.
experimenting with casual sex and substance abuse find their lives beyond their control. Well,
yeah, it was
clearly
very dark. It was a
clearly
dark
a lot
subject
of
matter.
this does not have anything to do with your experience growing up in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
It was dark, you said?
It was a little bit of a dark subject matter. Yeah, Ice Storm. But
Okay.
I had to read some lines.
Oh, here's a trailer, and there's a kid sitting at his desk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he have a beard? That's me.
It doesn't have a beard. I'm going to see if you're credited. As you
should
were.
be.
Huh?
I should be credited for that.
I'm going to look here.
So thanks to our friends at Bailey and Wood. Let's get to our IMCU Player of the Week. Another great in-state business that you should support, Indiana Members Credit Union. Head to imcu.com to see what IMCU can do for you. Free checking accounts, low auto rates, and more. Again, imcu.com, and right here in your backyard, branch locations all over the place for Indiana Members Credit Union.
Doesn't appear as though you were part of the members
I don't
for
know
the cast.
I don't know why I even say anything on this show, because every accomplishment that I've ever listed on this program, going back to the radio days, you have to dig out and fact check. You're incredulous that I've done anything or been given anything, like awards, praise, compliments.
Tom Flagg was the train conductor. Were you Tom Flagg? That doesn't sound like a...
I just don't know why you have to do this.
Colette Kilroy played Sorry Steele. Daniel McDonald was Weatherman.
Go to School Child 17 and make sure it's 17, because it's better than School Child 21.
Paul's teacher?
No, I don't remember who Paul's
Oh, wait,
teacher
here we
is.
go. Curious Neighbor, library book
Wait,
sale.
you gotta
uncredited.
get to your mic. I'm not Curious Neighbor.
Okay, that was Ann Kilner.
No. Okay.
I don't see. Let's see. Oh, Richard Nixon, archive footage, uncredited. Richard Nixon was uncredited.
He would have still been alive then, wouldn't he?
How about Courtney Pelton?
Didn't he die in the
He died
late 90s?
right around then.
Yeah.
96. Courtney Pelton played Billy, uncredited. A lot of uncredited people here, Derek. I don't see you, though.
Okay, well.
Drugstore
I'm in
clerk?
there. No, it wasn't a drugstore clerk. Wasn't old enough. I was 14, so.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Mikey's teacher?
Again, have you heard of a 14-year-old school teacher? Maybe in 1802, but no, not anymore.
Well, but I'm saying
That's not how things went. Even in the 90s.
Was Mikey's school teacher also your school teacher if you were a school kid?
I don't remember. It was 25 years ago.
You don't remember Marcel Rosenblatt?
I don't remember.
Did you share the trailer
I
with her?
was focused on executing my role.
Which
I
was
wasn't
what?
worried about what anybody else was doing.
What was your role?
To sit at my desk.
Okay.
But I did the best damn job sitting at that desk that anybody.
Good practice for your afternoon radio show.
Anyone. That's right. That's a very sedentary lifestyle, sports talk host. IMCU Player of the Week. I mean, it's got to be. As much as I would love to be like, hey, George Odom had a great game, like it's Taylor. It's Taylor.
He's the Player of the Year.
It's an historic achievement. It's a record-setting, franchise record-setting achievement.
Going into the game, Jonathan Taylor, Charlie Clifford, Wish TV 8 with this factoid, so credit to him. Going into the game, Jonathan Taylor had an opportunity to become just the 8th player in the history of the NFL to have the third player, to have 8 straight games. Only 2 other guys had done it. 8 straight games with 100 total yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor had 98 by half.
Yeah.
And already had the touchdown. And then went over that. He won 185 on the ground. He added, of course, through the air, including the touchdown. It was, Derek, I think most impressively, it was a historic performance for Jonathan Taylor, but it was not one that felt like it was outside the box of what they want him to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree with you. I mean, 5 tuds is a little bit of an outlier,
Touchdowns.
but yeah. But overall, it's not outside the box. Are you a little surprised that 100 scrimmage yards doesn't seem to be that much? Like, Marshall Faulk didn't have like 16 games in a row where he had 100 scrimmage yards?
I don't disagree.
Like, isn't that shocking to you?
Between running and catching? Yes.
I mean, I feel like Edgerrin James could have done that during his career.
If I'm not mistaken, Marshall Faulk
8
had
doesn't seem like that many.
Marshall Faulk had more receiving yards in his career, I believe, than Michael Irvin.
Oh, yeah. He was way, way up there. I mean, I don't think we've ever really kind of fully credited. Marshall Faulk is one of the 3 or 4 greatest running backs ever. I really feel that way.
No, that's hard to argue.
Yeah. I mean, if we're just talking runner, then, yeah, maybe Dickerson or some of those, Emmitt Smith.
No, in terms of offensive weapon.
Overall, Marshall Faulk clearly is a better running back than Emmitt Smith or Eric Dickerson or any of those guys.
It's hard to argue that.
Yeah.
Hard to argue that.
Because of his ability as a pass catcher.
But Jonathan Taylor is, without question, our Indiana Members Credit Union.
Yeah, I mean, this was the easiest one. I don't know if we given it to Taylor this season? We must have, right?
I don't know.
We gave it to Pittman. We gave it to Zaire Franklin.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think so.
We gave it to Leonard one week, I remember.
You know, Jonathan Taylor was so good, Derek, that you really didn't need any other offensive weapons. You know what I mean? I mean, you did, but you get what I'm saying?
There's nothing else to talk about from the game.
Right.
Like, that was a go rake your leaves in the second half game. I know that Colts fans are always preparing for doom.
Wouldn't most people's leaves already be
that
raked
game
by now?
was over. Well, I did a majority of mine in the on Saturday.
I don't understand raking leaves. Why don't you just mow them?
When you have a lot of leaves, you can't mulch that many.
Really?
Yeah. When you have like 4 trees that are just dumping on you, you got to clean some of them up.
Okay.
And I do mulch them. I have a leaf vacuum, and it grinds them up. And then I have this big like trash can thing, and it goes, and you throw them in there, and then they grind them all up.
And then what do you do with them?
You bag them. You have a bag in the bottom, and the ground up leaves go in the bag. And then you put them on the curb.
What would happen if you dug a big hole,
Yeah.
shoved all the leaves in it, and then filled it back in?
This is the problem. When you're a 50-year-old man who's lived in a 2-bedroom apartment alone for decades, you're not used to like lawn care or, you know, hey, my faucet's dripping. You've always just called somebody to come and fix that for you.
Of course.
Or have like Shannon do it.
Well, Shannon's got 5 acres
Yeah.
in the back.
But Shannon can call somebody to go ahead and do that. She's not like, hey, Jake, come over and fix my fence. Like, that's not.
Can you imagine?
That's
that
not
happening?
what Jake's good for. Yeah.
Yeah, come over and fix it. Let me bring my toolbox. Come over and fix the fence.
Like, I can't picture you. I know we joked about it like months ago on the show. I can't picture you like cutting grass or. Did you do that in like 1977 or whenever you?
My
were
dad
a
had me
kid?
mow the lawn a few times. I was terrible at it.
Okay.
And I think I was allergic to the grass.
Like, have you done work before? Like any kind of work? Chores? You were a paper delivery boy,
Yeah.
right?
I had a newspaper out.
Yeah,
I was an
guess
honor
that's-
carrier, Indianapolis News honor
That's
carrier.
work. O'Malley's?
I
You're
worked
back-
at Amaya's, bagged groceries.
This is sad because I know way too much about your life. I could actually kind of put together your resume.
I'm not what you call mechanically inclined.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I can't make
not-
fun of you because I'm not either.
It's not that I don't have the work ethic. I'm not mechanically inclined. I can't.
My brain doesn't process that
I would agree with that.
Like, we have guys here at ISC, like Jake, who's sitting in there, or even Sean, and Jordan Chu, who's on vacation this week, but usually he's like this too. And they're talking about, like, Ethernet ports and PoE, and I'm like,
Yeah, I would have
like,
no idea.
red thing goes in red, blue thing goes in blue.
I would
like,
have
that's
no idea what's going on.
If it has tape on it, and you idiot-proof it, then yes, I can do it. But everything else, I'm like, my dad the same way. He's so handy with everything. My wife, if we get furniture that you have to put together, my wife puts it together.
Yeah, I would not have done
Mostly
that.
because we get divorced whenever we try to, or she threatens to file for divorce whenever I insert myself into those situations and we try to put together like a coffee table. But
I would find my
why we
way
do that.
out of the room.
Yeah,
I am
it's
not
smart.
an engineer. Now, engineers, Derek, Purdue, and as you mentioned, good weekend for them, right?
Oh, yeah, huge weekend. Cool to see them play at Wrigley. I had a couple of friends that went, said it was a neat experience, and they took care of business against a bad Northwestern team. So now all that's standing in the way, Jake, of an 8-win season for Purdue are the mighty fighting Hoosiers of Indiana, who did, to be fair, they did score a touchdown last week.
Derek, Indiana's
So-
terrible.
Yeah.
And
I told you last week they have no chance of winning out
and I know
or
that
winning a single
listen,
game.
Listen, I know he was the right guy at the right time, and I know that I get it. I'm going to repeat what I said last week. Indiana has a bad history, and it's not just one athletic director. They've done it now with back-to-back athletic directors, of panicking and overpaying coaches before the coach is proven. Does Tom Allen, is he the right guy for Indiana? He may well be. You know, you got one good, one bad here kind of weighing out. But
Well,
he's
too good, to be fair. I mean, 2019 was a nice season.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I mean, but he has completely lost this team. They've already got players now entering the transfer portal. I wouldn't be surprised if some guys, you know, look elsewhere in terms of backing out of commitments.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sit there and completely bury it, but but Indiana's stuck with it. $30 million buyout, fourth highest buyout in college football. I think Tom Allen is a super nice guy. I think he is a scrupulous individual, but that football team is way too sloppy, way too unprepared. They look way in over their head in terms of their schemes far too often than to have a coach that's making over $4 million a year or whatever it is and has one of the top 10 buyouts in college football. Bottom line is, Tom Allen, there are a lot of things about him that I admire, but you absolutely have to be a better, more disciplined football team when you're paying that kind of money to your coach.
Yeah, they are. They've had a lot of injuries and bad luck, but they're underachieving even from where they should be,
Correct.
given all of the
They
the
haven't
bad
beaten a
circumstances.
Division I.
Yeah. And you're going to have
Cool.
attrition. When you go 2-10 and you go 0-9 in Big Ten play, you're going to have some attrition, and rightfully so. They probably should have some attrition after something like that. But this is going to be an ongoing thing, Jake. I even feel bad kind of mentioning it again on the show because I know we've talked about it a lot. But, kind of as we tie a bow on this football season, it's going to be interesting to see what the follow-up is because I still think it's salvageable. I think Indiana can get back on track, but they got to get back on track immediately.
And Derek, there's not going to be a change. On coordinators, maybe change.
Yeah.
Head coach ain't changing.
No. But you are going to have, like you said, you're going to have some attrition,
Of
and
course.
you're going to have to get some re-buy-in now from the roster.
Now, on the hoop side of things, I mean, as good a weekend as you can ask for Purdue, who might be the best team in the country. They certainly had the best roster, I think, top to bottom. And Indiana looks good, too. I think Indiana's perimeter ball movement is so drastically improved. And I like some of the young pieces that Indiana has. Christian Lander got on the floor and showed some promise. I think Tamar Bates, has some skill. And then obviously Trace Jackson-Davis, we know what he can do. But Purdue, on their side of things, Derek, Zach Edey is really good. And then they have really special players that are capable of taking over games but don't have to take over games to be content.
Yeah.
Guys like Jaden Ivey, he can go out and get you 8 points and 10 assists, and he's thrilled because they're winning by 15. You know what I mean?
All those guys. I mean, we talk about it with buy-in. You have to have that, and they're cheering from the bench, and Travion Williams is like, okay, you want me to come off the bench? Cool. Caleb first gets a couple of minutes, and that's, Mason Gillis has to sacrifice, or who, I'm just using examples. Okay, cool. If that's what works for the team, that's what works for the team. But it was beyond impressive. At the end of halftime, my dad and I were watching it, and I said, let's flip over to Purdue. And they're trailing 60-51. And it feels like they're on the brink of losing that game. There's like 6 minutes left. And they went on an incredible run after that. I think they scored 14 of the next 16. And it was everybody. Ivy with the block and then up ahead to First. And then First comes back and hits another three. Isaiah Thompson hits a big three. Zach Edey beasts inside and gets a dunk and then another one plus an and one. And suddenly you look up and Purdue's beating one of the 10 best teams in America. And the Big East front
and they're
runner
one
in
of the 10
Villanova.
best teams. They might be one of the 5 best teams in America.
Yeah, I mean, Villanova is really good. Like, they're like an elite-level program with what they've done here lately. So it's not even Thanksgiving, so you want to be careful about making, like, these broad statements. There's so much season to go. But Purdue rolls 9 or 10 deep, and they've got 3 of the top 25, 30 players in America in Ivy, Williams, and Edey.
And the other thing about, I mean, just if you look at them right here, like, it just looks like guys that enjoy playing with each other, right? I mean, they just won, so obviously they're going to be happy. I think winning over Villanova is also good, Derek, because a Jay Wright coach team is going to be a disciplined, well-coached team.
Yeah.
And to get a win over somebody like that is good.
Yeah, you punched him right in the eye.
It's usually the mouth, I think is the phrase.
This one's the eye. You went right for the eye. Weakness.
I think. I've never.
Well, that's
seen
what
it.
I would always try to do in fights. Is that punch in the eye, take one line of vision out, and then I can dance a little bit more because you can't see me out of that eye because it's all puffing up and there's blood. So you can't see me out of that eye. So I'm dancing. Then I kind of hit you with the left, like that.
Whose eye were you punching?
Well, I haven't actually ever gotten into like a real physical altercation, but I'm envisioning I had a POA, so that's what I wanted to do. Plan of attack. So in case I was ever confronted with a situation like that, I would be able to have a plan.
Okay. What's your POA for after the break here?
Joey Chestnut's going to join us in studio.
Oh, really?
Coming up. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited about
Are you
that.
going to wear your little hot dog outfit again?
We still, I have it in the back.
why don't you
Sure.
go put that on.
Okay. And we still have some features to get to as
Okay.
well. And there was something else that I wanted to talk about today. Oh, maybe the college football playoff. Notre Dame.
Who's going to win it all, Derek?
You said it, and I kind of shot it down. You were like, well, I got a feeling like in September the Notre Dame's going to be 11-1. And I'm like, you're crazy. Like, there's no way. And now look at where we are. And now we have to have a conversation again about Notre Dame being in the playoff. And here we go. So you were right, but you were wrong. And I'll explain what I mean by that when we come back. Plus Joey Chestnut here on Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Stick around.
It's here. The moment that will define you. So think of this moment as your moment. The one you've been waiting for. You were built for it. And so were we. WGU, the online university where ambition never rests.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Meet Zach. Day and night, rain or shine, even just out for a spin, Zach gets around. But we know Zach, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he's been saving up to trade up. IMCU is here to help Zach and you drive your dream. Now get financing as low as 1.99% APR on a new or used vehicle. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Derek, I'm trying to do. I try to be a semblance of professionalism now. I mean, I have a second job now. I enjoy doing this TV show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a visual medium.
Yep.
We did radio forever. People couldn't see it. Joey Chestnut's coming on, and he's the hot dog eating champion.
He is, yes.
You look ridiculous. I just went outside, and one of the gals here in the studio said, I overheard one of them say, I don't know what's going on, but he's dressed as a hot dog.
Well, I'm dressed as a hot dog clearly because Joey Chestnut's coming in studio.
Joey Chestnut eats hot dogs.
Yeah. What is associated with Joey Chestnut's brand? Right here.
Are you trying to seduce him?
He's going to take it as a compliment. Why does everything have to be like creepy or sexual with you? Like this is just Joey Chestnut likes hot dogs. We're having Joey Chestnut in studio. This is a visual medium, just like you said.
You're wearing a hot dog
so
outfit, and you're accusing me of being the weird one?
Okay, look, you got to do something with your mic. You got to be professional, okay? Like let's keep your mic where it is. Like this is a professional television show.
You're dressed as a hot dog. You're not. You don't even have the.
Well, we used to have. I stuffed it with newspaper one year to kind of fill it out because there's just a lot of like air. It's been in my attic for 5 years, so that's part of it too. Like I had to climb up there into my garage attic to get it.
The fact that you kept it is ridiculous.
I kept every single Halloween costume that we ever did on the show.
I'm gonna tell you the Halloween outfits we've done. You ready?
Okay. You didn't pay for any of them, so I'd be surprised if you remembered any of them.
One year we were supposed to be Batman and Robin, and instead I dressed as a clown. That
Batman costume was $95, and you never paid me 1 cent for it.
Is it still in the attic?
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay,
I can't wear it because it's an adult XL. I look ridiculous in it.
I think you would look ridiculous as Batman. I mean, clearly that's a costume. Okay.
I'd be a great Batman.
So one year you were Robin, right?
Yep. And you were a clown.
And Robin, what isn't his name like Dick Grayson or something?
Yeah. Good job. How'd you know that?
I know everything.
Yeah.
One year you were Paul Schaefer.
Paul Schaefer and you were Letterman. That was probably my favorite costume that we did.
That was pretty good.
Where I wore the skin cap and you had the big beard.
One year we were astronauts.
Yes. Rocket ship.
Okay. One year we were hot dog and mustard, right?
Yeah, that was when I bought this suit. That's right. So this is from 2013.
And that's it. That's the only ones I can remember.
There was 1 year where we were the two people from Fantasy Island. That was the last year that we had Jake choose. And we said, well, what is Jake's choice? And he said the two things from Fantasy Island. I was like, what is Fantasy Island? And apparently there was a little person that used to say something about an airplane. And so, of course,
that's right.
Because it has to be demeaning to me, I had to be the airplane fella, and you got to be the rich
Do you remember what was
guy.
fun was for that, and now it's all coming back to me. You indeed were Tattoo, and your job.
Is that little guy's name?
Yeah, it was Halloween, and we gave out M&Ms. Remember, you were giving out M&Ms. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember which kind?
No.
The plane. The plane.
Yeah. That's great. I forgot that you made that bad joke then, and it just popped back into my head now. So, yeah, that's great.
Never gets old.
Let's talk about, before we have Joey on, you and I are both kind of college football dorks, and I had one guy email once and said, why do you talk college football so much? This isn't a college football market. I'm like, well, Jake and I just kind of like to talk college football.
College football is pretty big.
And he's like, you're only doing that because you followed Notre Dame, and he likes Clemson. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess maybe that's part of it too. But I'm just kind of fascinated. Oregon's out of the way now, right? So that's actually, I think, a good thing certainly for Cincinnati.
You've got, as it stands right now, you got Georgia, Alabama, the way they were ranked last week, Oregon, Ohio State, and then Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame. So for Notre Dame, Michigan State's out.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, I mean they're so toss them aside. Mm-hmm. Oregon's out, toss them aside. Okay, Cincinnati's in now. If Cincinnati holds serve, they're in. I don't see a situation or a scenario where Cincinnati falls back out.
Yeah, it would be tough. It would have to come. It would have to come via an Alabama win over Georgia, and then if the committee really liked the Big 12 champion, if they had one loss, Oklahoma State or Oklahoma.
A lot of this happened. A lot of this is based probably on what happens between Alabama and Georgia. I think Georgia's in.
Oh, me too. Yeah, at this point, yeah, they're a lock.
Well, how many games do they have left?
Well, they have to beat a terrible Georgia Tech team.
Okay, and then
SEC championship.
The SEC title game is against Alabama.
If they're undefeated in the SEC championship, they're not getting left out.
Correct, unless they get beat 56.
It doesn't matter. They're still in. They're not going to fall 4 spots.
I would tend to agree with you on that. Now, Michigan is intriguing because what happens if Michigan? Well, Michigan can't go to the Big Ten title game.
No, they have to beat Ohio State to go to the Big Ten title game.
Okay, So let's rephrase that then. What happens if Ohio State, let's say they lose to Michigan on a last-second field goal, and Michigan goes on and wins the Big Ten? Is Ohio State still in?
No. A one-loss Big Ten champion is in. Any other scenario, the Big Ten is out.
That's probably right.
Yeah. No, it is right.
Is there a scenario where Notre Dame can get in?
Yes. If Alabama loses to Georgia, and I think Oklahoma and Oklahoma
What
State.
if Alabama loses close to Georgia?
Their resume is not good enough. A lot of people have mentioned that. What does Alabama have? They beat Ole Miss?
You look ridiculous,
Who cares?
by the way.
I just, what you do in the regular season has to matter, and I think Alabama deserves a lot of the benefit of the doubt. But if you're going to be a 2-loss non-conference champion with no really great wins, plural, then you're gone. The SEC wasn't that great this year, and they would have lost to A&M, and they would have lost to Georgia. The Ole Miss win is nice. Who else did they beat? Arkansas? Okay. Who cares?
This is a decent conversation, but I can't take it seriously.
Well, that's on you, pal. Like
wearing
the
a hot
fact
dog
that you
outfit.
can't be a professional is on you. By the way, Jay, can we get to our Sage Move of the Week here? Because it has to do exactly with this. Because the biggest winner to me.
Do you have something sticking down also?
Well, I had to stuff. I put a T-shirt up here because I had to stuff the tip of the hot dog. Had to. Right? Because it's got to look like puffy. There we go. That looks good. Looks real good. Cincinnati, I think, is the biggest winner from the college football weekend because their path has opened up.
Right.
Where they now, I agree with you. If they beat a good SMU team, if they beat Houston, and they've got one more game, I think. I don't know who else they're playing. If Cincinnati wins out at this point, I think you have to put them in.
I think they're in.
I think you have to,
especially considering they have the win at Notre Dame.
Yeah, and some people have said, well, Notre Dame's playing a lot better, and they are. And Notre Dame against Cincinnati, if they played on Saturday, Notre Dame would be favored. I mean, that's where we are with both of those teams.
You're right.
But that game has to count, Jake.
Right.
They went to Notre Dame and they won. And yes, it was early in the season, but
they kind of controlled that game, right?
They did. They've severely outplayed them. A different Notre Dame team, but still. I think you have to put Cincinnati in at that point.
Sage Move of the Week, by the way, is brought to you by WGU Indiana. That is correct, wgu.edu/Indiana, which is Indiana's largest online accredited university. Whether you're thinking about going back to school or starting for the first time, whatever it might be, you can work on your schedule. Now, if you want to hot dog around, like this knucklehead right here, then it might be a little more difficult. But you also can do it on your own schedule, your own time. Again, wgu.edu/Indiana, Indiana's largest online accredited university, because ambition never rests. Derek, can you please take that off? Because Joey Chestnut is a world champion, world-renowned, of course, competitive eater, and he's going to be in here, and he's going to see that, and he's going to go, oh, yeah, okay, I got to do this again with the guy that dresses like a hot dog. It's embarrassing.
It's going to be great. I can't wait to have Joey coming up. Is he here? So he can see me right now in the hot dog suit? Awesome. Let's have our good friend Joey Chestnut in studio when we come back. How about that?
Are you going to take the outfit off?
No, that's the whole point of wearing it in the first place.
Why did you wear it right now? He's not even here yet.
Because I wanted to be prepared. I wanted to prepare the audience.
Is that part of your POA?
What's that? It's Corey and Schultz. Joey Chestnut next, ISC Sports Network.
Meet Kate. She has a lot to juggle. Family, work, it can lead to trying days and tired nights. But we know Kate, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know at some point her space at a premium life may change. IMCU is here to help Kate and you find your space. Now, add on or remodel with an introductory rate of 1.9% APR on a home equity line of credit. Today, it's all about Kate. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
It's here. moment that will define you. So think of this moment as your moment. The one you've been waiting for. You were built for it. And so were we. WGU, the online university where ambition never rests.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Listen, Joey Chestnut's become a friend of the show. Now Central Indiana's own Joey Chestnut, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you've become a friend of the show, right? Over the years, you've been coming here
Best
every
friend
year.
of the show.
A good friend.
What do you think of it? I mean, he looks absurd, doesn't
No,
he?
no, it brings me back to like when we met like 8 or 9 years ago. And I was a little bit skinnier. You were a little bit younger.
That's right, yeah.
we were, yeah. I was like, damn, we were kids.
Okay, so Joey Chestnut is here once again, as you are each and every year. And, of course, you now live in Central Indiana. But Big Ten football championship weekend, so a week from Saturday, you're going to be, again, eating some shrimp cocktail, right?
Oh, yeah. The spiciest shrimp cocktail in the world.
I'm going to try it, Derek. You know what happens,
You're
right?
always a baby with this. I love it.
What do you mean I'm a baby? Are you going to try one, Joey?
You can't do
absolutely.
the horseradish.
My sinuses are very sensitive. It doesn't bother you at all, does it, Derek? All right, hold on.
It makes my eyes water, but I love the taste.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. I mean, it hits you.
It hits hard.
It does. Now,
Sorry to chew into the mic.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
You gonna make it?
no.
And then it goes
I
away.
love it.
It goes away, though.
I know, but I love it. But,
Yeah.
So for you, Joey Chestnut, and welcome back, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
When you do this, how much of the cocktail sauce and how many shrimp will you eat during your competition?
So they're giving us, I think, each little bowl they give us has 10 shrimp in it, and then 4 ounces of shot sauce on top. So we're not allowed to shake off the sauce. We have to pretty much eat it. I mean, we squeeze a little bit and hopefully get some of the sauce off of it. But every bowl I'm eating is at least 4 ounces of sauce.
So do you get used to it? I mean, as you're going along, or is it hitting you the whole time?
It's like it hurts really bad in the beginning, and then it's like most things in life. You just have to learn how to deal with it.
That's right.
And you just deal with the pain. And
It probably doesn't make for great TV for me to just keep eating shrimp.
Well, yeah, it's good though. I think you've said this before, Joey. Of all the things that you eat, this is the most unique thing in competition that you've eaten. Correct?
It's so different. Yeah, it's the way it hits so hard, and it's something really new, like shrimp. These are delicious shrimp.
Yeah.
And it's so explosive. And it's, every time I do it,
You get nervous?
I get nervous, and then I think like it hits so hard. I think I'm like exaggerating. Like, oh, it can't be that bad. And then it hit. Every time I take another bite, it's still there.
You get some other world-class eaters in all these competitions, really. Have you been pushed in this competition?
Yeah, there's been 2 years where I only won by 2 shrimp.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't
the year I
realize
did
Now, do they go by total number of shrimp consumed or the weight?
They go by they both kind of because they'll convert it to poundage. But yeah, I did like 19 pounds. I think it was 3 years ago. And the guy behind me was right there. He used to have like 2 shrimp behind me.
That's crazy.
It was so tight. I was like, whoa.
So tell me what led you to move, other than, of course, loving. It goes without saying. I mean, if you can be in the place anywhere that has the St. Elmo shrimp cocktail, the St. Elmo steaks, the St. Elmo cola, all of it, then you're going to want to be here. But what was it that made you move from the Bay Area to Central Indiana?
Oh, there's a bunch of good reasons, little reasons that all add up. Every time I'd come here, I love it. I love the community. Indianapolis is a great, clean, safe city and a great airport. And it's like it's awesome downtown with things going on. And then I moved to Westfield, and that whole area is it's a sweet area.
Yeah, it's
nice. Zionsville, Westfield, Carmel.
But you haven't gone through the winter yet, right?
No, I haven't. But I'll deal with it.
You don't want to keep you warm when it gets cold?
women.
Well, he's not wrong.
that too, and the cocktail sauce, right?
Yeah, the cocktail sauce is it's spicy.
It's good timing to have you here because Tom Brady's coming with the Buccaneers this Sunday. And when I think of athletes and champions that kind of come together, you think of, Michael Jordan, you think of Tom Brady, you think of Joey Chestnut. But when Brady went to the Bucs, I was kind of thinking, oh, okay, this will be a nice swan song. It'll have the warm weather. Maybe he takes them to the playoffs once, but they'll be one and done and out. And then, of course, they win the Super Bowl in the first year. But for you, Joey, it's kind of the same way where I keep thinking, okay, well, he's going to level off now, but you keep kind of raising the bar for yourself and for everybody else.
Oh, this
like
year
what you did at Nathan's this year, it's incredible.
Well, this year was awesome because I'm from California, and in California we have no humidity at all. But this year I was able to practice outside in Indiana humidity.
That helped?
Oh, absolutely. I'd never been able to practice in real humidity and get used to eating in some heat. So it definitely helped.
So
me
it's kind of like how Olympic runners train in high altitude.
High altitude or closer to the conditions.
You go to high humidity.
Yeah, humidity is dude. I start sweating. I don't know if you've seen me eat. It's intense.
Now, I thought I had read somewhere, Joey Chestnut. This may be totally off base. I thought I read somewhere that you were contemplating, indeed, hanging up. You wouldn't say cleats, whatever it might be, hanging up the bib.
Are we gonna have to bib? Who said this?
I don't know where I saw that.
No, I'm definitely getting older, and I'm a little bit chubbier, but I still love it.
You look the same. We haven't seen you. I haven't seen you in probably 2 years. You look the same.
It's a battle. I mean, I love to eat, and I hate working out, but it's I don't know. It is what it is. I have to find a way.
Well, the good news is with the shrimp.
I know it digests so clean, and it's healthy.
Low in calories, high in
apparently
protein.
there's some sort of some sort of cholesterol in there, but you know what? That's a myth.
Is there a different feeling afterwards of this compared to I don't know, hot dogs or high calorie stuff?
Yeah, the things with really high fat content, I end up smelling like that food later. And when I start sweating, I smell like a hot dog. If a bratwurst is rough.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's almost like I'm greasy.
I'd actually kind of like to smell like a bratwurst, though. It's a good smell. Are you going to make it over there? Do you have that medic? Usually you have a medic that travels.
I know, usually there's a medic.
Do we have that for Jake for the horseradish?
I know. I trust you guys. And if you guys die on air, it would really suck.
Jake can't make it, I don't think. Let's talk about the sauces as well while we have you here, because this was something that was released several years ago. And I think it started, right, with the coney sauce and the mustard and then became the wing sauce and then the sriracha teriyaki. But we're not just saying this because you're here.
All right, I'm back. The heat got me on that one.
It did.
Yeah.
The sriracha teriyaki, no joke. We buy it every time we go out to Kroger.
Fantastic.
It's been so much fun developing the sauces and then going out to the grocery stores and helping promote them and talking to people who like to eat them. It's been a lot of fun. And it really, meeting the people who are enjoying them, it really encourages me to just, all right, keep kicking butt.
How did this come about with you with St. Elmo? Because, and I will say, Joey, I will always tell this story.
You got tears coming out of your eyes.
Well, yeah, no. I get very choked up.
Not everyone can handle it.
I will always tell this story about, and they've never asked me to, but I don't know, a handful of years ago, I went around asking for different places to help out with a meal for the needy in Indianapolis at the holidays. And specifically Wheeler Mission I was working with. And when I reached out to St. Elmo, they partnered with us, and they could not have been better about helping out and being part of the community, being philanthropic, helping the less fortunate. And I've just always thought that St. Elmo is this tremendous civic partner. They get being in Indianapolis. They understand what it means to be a part of it. People that come in from out of town want to go to St. Elmo, and it puts forth the best foot for Indianapolis for people from out of town. So it makes sense that for someone like yourself moving to Indianapolis, you would partner with St. Elmo. But how did that partnership exactly come about?
Partnership, let's see. Yeah, like you said, as soon as I was introduced to them, it's like a family.
Yeah.
The employee, you go there, the servers, bartenders, they've been working there for like 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And it's just you as soon as you meet the guys, Craig, the owner of St. Elmo, and there's Bryn, the whole marketing team. It's like just good people, and and so they're like, oh, you promote our sauces really well, or our shrimp cocktail sauce really well. It's like, and so that we came up with the idea of let's promote something that Joey Chestnut likes, and so we developed the sauces, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's great to have you
and it's
too.
and there's and like you said, they're great for the community, and they treat people right.
Have you become? I know that you were a Warriors fan, right?
You know, I was never the biggest Warrior fan.
Okay,
I refuse to get on the bandwagon.
Raiders A's.
Raiders A's. Yeah,
That's what I remember.
So, were you a Colts fan at all?
I'm getting to it. Yeah, it's I'm having a lot of fun. It seemed the way the teams just progressed through this year. It was scary in the beginning, but it's looking great.
Off to a slow start for sure. They're going to have a key game probably against the Raiders towards the end of the year here. So
yeah,
it's going to be
Raiders are having a rough season. It's just emotionally rough.
up and down.
Well, the Gruden stuff.
It's not. You know, yeah, I love Carr. For years ago, I used to not like him, but the way he's actually carrying the team right now is.
I think that Derek Carr. I just think he seems like a good leader. Like I just think he seems like a good person.
I'm literally eating my words because like years ago, I didn't have faith in kid Derek Carr, but the way he stepped up with Gruden gone and Ruggs, he's stepping up.
Yeah,
and he's keeping the team together.
I think he's kind of on that Wentz tier where he's not like elite, but he's good and can be very good.
Isn't it hard to take him seriously?
Well, Derek Carr can throw the ball.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm talking about Derek Schultz. I mean, I can't take your.
Well, if we are going to do this, Joey.
I like that he stuffed the tip. It was kind of.
I did.
It was a little bit soft.
I had to step. Actually, it's getting a little. It's getting a little.
I know.
Cockeyed.
Yeah.
I want to make sure the tip is. Oh, wait. There's the T-shirt.
Yeah.
Let's get it back up there because it was starting to kind of go to the right a little bit.
And you thought the tears were from the shrimp cocktail sauce, right?
Well, I wanted to apologize, Joey, for my co-host for coughing and all of that. I thought that was unprofessional behavior to have the champ here and to have him have to leave the set. So
how fabulous, by the way, is the Elmo Cola?
Oh my God,
this is great too, and it's hard to believe, Jake, but Thanksgiving this week, holidays. This is the perfect holiday cocktail.
It is.
And it's just put that on
really
ice.
really good.
If you
listen,
vanilla, cherry,
rocks. Pour it right there on the rocks. Fill it with cola, and you're ready to go, man. Dark cherry and bourbon vanilla beans. The best.
And you're right, Joey. You don't even necessarily need the cola. You could just this straight on the rocks is fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if our pal over here can handle it because he can't handle the horseradish either. But Joey and I just like it straight on the rocks.
Okay.
We're manly professionals. So that's what we end up doing.
Uh-huh.
Next Saturday, Big Ten Championship Fan Fest, Georgia Street for the shrimp cocktail eating contest. We had talked about this. We think it's the 7th annual.
I think it's the 7th annual,
which is incredible.
Yeah,
I think that it's been that long.
How many are competing against you?
We have there. I think there'll be 10 people on stage. I think it might be one media personality. We'll see.
Now, Derek, I want you to do 10 on stage.
Yeah.
None of them dressed like a hot dog. I want you to do a huge thing of.
Well, I ate all my
sauce.
shrimp already.
Oh, well, here, I'll give
Do
you
you
a
want to
shrimp.
give me another one? Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you a
I
shrimp to
manhandled
take
that one.
fish out of there. I want it completely covered, and I want to see whether or not it hits you.
All right. Well, it's going to hit me completely and totally covered. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, a
right,
big
ready?
glob.
Like that?
Okay, that's fine. Let's
All
see.
right, ready?
Now. Yep, zoom in on Derek here. You doing okay?
It's fine. It's not affecting me at all.
His eyes are watering a little bit. I
Don't
can
talk
see
with your
it.
mouth full. It's embarrassing.
It's no big deal.
Wow, it's amazing.
I will say I have super sensitive sinuses, but it is one of the great dishes in Indiana.
Like I said,
It's
not
so
for everybody.
unique. Yeah,
It is.
and
It's fabulous.
and anybody who comes to Indiana has to try it.
Oh, I definitely need a Kleenex though for my eyes.
It's fabulous.
And the sinuses too. You know, you get the nose running a little bit. Joey, it's great to have you in studio. Thanks for making the drive up here. It's great to have you as a Hoosier now.
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Yeah. You've always just kind of fit the culture.
Hoosier
here, I feel
hospitality is
Yeah.
a real thing, and people.
Well, you're in charge of putting it on now because you're a Hoosier.
Oh my God, it's gonna be great.
One of us. StElmo.com as well if you want to check out everything that they've got going. And the cola, Target, Kroger, Meijer, all those places. If you want to pick that up. And same for Joey's sauces. I know carrying a lot of the grocery stores here locally.
Yeah, Meijer, Kroger, and they're available.
Best of luck next Saturday, my man.
Thank you so much.
We'll come back with more next here on
Are you going to
Query
take
and
that off
Schultz,
now?
ISC Sports Network. Will that make
Please?
you happy?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Then I will. Jeez.
Okay.
I just can't believe it that you have to act this way all the time.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Meet Zach. Day and night, rain or shine, even just out for a spin, Zach gets around. But we know Zach, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he's been saving up to trade up. IMCU is here to help Zach and you drive your dream. Now get financing as low as 1.99% APR on a new or used vehicle. Today, it's all about Zach. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
It's here. The moment that will define you. So think of this moment as your moment. The one you've been waiting for. You were built for it. And so were we. WGU, the online university where ambition never rests.
Thanks to Joey Chestnut for coming in.
Thank goodness you took off that
was a lot of fun.
ridiculous outfit.
The only thing unprofessional.
I've recovered from my
That's it.
heat.
The only thing unprofessional about that segment was that you couldn't handle it in front of the champ, in front of the whatever it is, 28-time mustard belt champ. You couldn't handle it.
I was professional enough.
It would be
to
like
vacate
having
the area.
It would be like having a basketball segment on this show with LeBron James, who might eventually come on the show. You never know. And we're out there with basketballs, and I'm just nailing jump shots, which I do because my jump shot's pretty wet. And you just start airballing. Like that. That's how I felt when you were.
By the way, did you see the video?
The entire time.
Did you see the video from the Sacramento Kings game?
No, what are you talking about?
This is my concern in the NBA now. I don't know if all the arenas are doing this. I certainly know Indiana's doing it. The lower, 3 rows has access to what used to be the best locker room, which is now like the Care Source restaurant area.
Sure.
But it has, and it's very nice, but it's an open bar. I don't want to, I'm being presumptuous here, but the Sacramento Kings game over the weekend, there was a fella sitting at mid-court, like on the floor. You know how they have the front row?
Yeah, sure.
And there was a timeout, granted, but he recycled right there on the floor.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And it was voluminous. Is that the right word?
Yeah. So a lot of it?
Yeah.
So was it like all, the ones where it just comes out in one spot, or was it like lawn sprinkler? Where he just, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to hold it in, but it's just projectile like.
No, he's sitting, and everybody, there was no one around him, and he's sitting on the floor, like his feet are on the hardwood.
Yeah. And just right.
And there was
right
the kid.
lap.
There was a kid mopping the floor.
Yeah, sawdust.
Yep. No, before that.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, the guy, he's looking down, and then it just goes straight down. And then there's a few follow-ups. And the kid mopping the floor, they point. And so he takes 3 steps towards the area and then realizes what it is and hooks a hard left.
Yeah.
And bails.
Not a bad idea.
And then
I do the same thing.
And then I think they brought out hazmat suits. And you could see, too, there were a few people 8 seats away from him, and they immediately vacated as well.
Because of the smell, too. It's pretty bad.
Okay.
Not a great segue into Chateau Kitchens. sponsor of this segment, but they are good friends of the show. Stephen, Megan, and the rest of the crew over there will take care of any home projects that you have on the interior of the house. Anything interior. So I know it's Chateau Kitchens, but they do bathrooms. They're doing our guest bathroom upstairs. They do basements. They do living rooms. They did a house in Carmel not too long ago where they knocked out a wall and did paneling on the stairwell and kind of even reconfigured the stairwell, and it's amazing. If you want to see these photos, at Chateau Kitchens on Instagram, you can follow them.
Chateau Kitchens.
No, it's just called Chateau Kitchens.
I know, but I'm saying the spell
At Chateau Kitchens on Facebook as well.
People will say, they're like, I want to look up Chateau Kitchens, but I can't remember how to spell Chateau.
No, people know how to spell Chateau.
Okay.
Yeah. Chateau Kitchens and chateaukitchens.com. So if you've got a project upcoming, have them take care of it for you. They're going to do everything that we are ever going to do in this house. They did our kitchen. They're going to do the guest bathroom. They'll do our bathroom when the time comes. They'll do the downstairs bathroom when the time comes. Whole deal.
You know what would be wonderful? Like once your kitchen, once you got it redone, it is fabulous, no doubt about it.
It is, yeah.
You should have me over to your beautiful kitchen for a little smoking barrel barbecue, right?
Oh, we're going to go right into that? Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about mom and pop, family-owned business, and, this is the time of year where you're thinking about good eating anyway, right?
I hope you got those Thanksgiving orders in already because the cutoff was Saturday. So a lot of people are going to be having a smoke and barrel BBQ Thanksgiving, which is great.
You want to talk about being the hit of the house.
Yeah, I've always thought Thanksgiving food was kind of But smoke and barrel barbecue is not It's delicious.
Brisket tacos.
Smokinbarrelbarbecue.com. So dashes in between all of those and just SMOKIN, barrel barbecue. Not just the brisket tacos, which you're probably thinking to yourself, what, brisket tacos? That's what I thought too. But like 5 people recommended that, and I drove out to German Church Road to see Mike and CJ, and they were unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Well, Mike and CJ are unbelievable too.
Burnt ends, ribs, pulled pork, the whole deal there at Smoke and Barrel Barbecue, and the sides are out of this world. Order online, and you can pick up, or you can eat in. So, because some people were asking, hey, I think you said it was a bingo hall. Can I actually eat in? Yes, you can eat in, even though a lot of people just
bingo
pick up.
Every time, right?
But Far East Side, German Church Road, basically when you're exiting Warren Township, you can get over there to Smoke and Barrel Barbecue.
Before we get to our milk facts and our American Dairy Association of Indiana winner of the week, I think we know who that's going to be. Derek, time for some quick hits.
Yeah, quick hits. Let's do it. A college football heavy quick hits. Do not touch me. Dan Mullen out at Florida.
How about that?
He started 29-6. Like last year, right now, the Gators were 8-1.
It's one of the 10 highest paid coaches in the country.
Yeah, and you were thinking, oh boy, he's really turned around because I think they had a 10-win season, then an 11-win season his first 2 years. But remember, they completely capitulated last year, lost their final 4, I think, and they got embarrassed in their bowl. They had a bunch of players opt out, but they got embarrassed in their bowl game by Oklahoma, and then they went 5-6 this year. And look, in the SEC, you could lose to Georgia. You could lose to Bama. You could even lose to Auburn, who loses like 5 games every year. You can't lose to Mizzou, and you can't lose to South Carolina.
Right.
You can't lose to the lightweights in that league. And they lost to both
And
of
to
them.
be fair, it's not like that's a league that really even has any lightweights. So
Well, non-Vanderbilt, yeah, I'd agree.
So what I'm saying is you have to look at the non-heavyweights and say, okay, no Marge Berry. You got to get those games,
yeah,
right?
I mean, you used to say you got to beat Kentucky, but now you can't even say that.
Right.
Arkansas, the same thing. I mean, look at what they've done. I mean, it's a league that Vanderbilt is awful. They're one of the worst Power 5 programs in America, but the rest of that conference usually is pretty. Even South Carolina. South Carolina gets athletes. They recruit pretty. They have a top 25 recruiting class. They recruit pretty well. They're just, you're playing those teams every week, so it's really hard to beat them. Speaking of underperforming programs, there's never any reason why you shouldn't win at Florida. Texas is going to go 4-8 maybe this year. They're 4-7 right now. How is that even possible? How could you have a 4-win season at Texas?
And Texas can't seem to get right their coaching hires. Right?
No, Steve Sarkisian's in year 1, so he's not going to be fired or anything like that. But they started 4-1 and they were leading Oklahoma by 3 tuds. And then ever since then, the season spiraled out of control. First time in 65 years that they've lost 6 straight games in a season.
Really?
Yeah.
It is amazing. I mean, I know, Derek, that we've talked many, many times about how, Texas doesn't have the luxury now of the fact that if you're a top player in the state of Texas, you got now. I mean, Texas is recruiting.
Everybody goes in there. Ohio State goes in there.
But I mean, Texas is now recruiting against not just the schools coming in and poaching Texas, but TCU has had good runs. I know they're
Yeah.
down this year. SMU now is decent. Texas
Baylor.
Tech, Baylor, obviously.
Arkansas.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, and again, like recruiting is a much larger world than it was 30 years ago,
Right.
where a lot of kids wanted to stay home to be on TV. Everybody's on TV now.
Right.
Maybe not SMU, but everyone else. You could probably get SMU games on stream. I would think if you can't get them on regular channels. So God, and our buddy Corey Elliott, he and his girlfriend went out to Morgantown. They apparently had a really great time, but
Morgantown's a cool town.
he loves
Cool town. I love-
his Longhorns, and I just feel terrible for him because he's
Morgantown is a cool town.
been in attendance to see him lose to Kansas, and now he sees him lose to, albeit a decent West Virginia team, but still.
Can't wait to get home and have some of this.
Ready for our winner of the week? Speaking of fluids, milk is very good for you. In fact,
Milk,
Jake Query
Derek,
is going
milk.
to. Yes, that's why I said milk.
You
Jake
said
Query is
milk.
going to tell you how good milk is for you right now.
Do we have the milk? Are you asking me to get the milk facts?
Well, yeah,
here?
you have it in front of you, don't you? I forgot who I picked for my winner of the week.
Hot off the press.
Oh, now I remember. Well, I have it written down.
How could you forget who is clearly going to be our winner of the week?
We're not picking Jonathan Taylor again, are we?
Why not?
I got a different one.
Well.
I don't want to give JT more awards.
Chocolate milk, which, by the way, I have right here. Do you know that it contains more carbohydrates than regular milk? 1 8-ounce serving of low-fat chocolate milk, easy for me to say. As much calcium as 10 cups of raw spinach, as much potassium as a banana, and as much vitamin A as 2 hard-boiled eggs. That's right. After a workout, there is nothing that refuels you, replenishes you, and gets you going like low-fat chocolate milk. The American Dairy Association of Indiana and the dairy farmers throughout Indiana would love if you would enjoy some ice-cold chocolate milk after your workout and incorporate some ice-cold milk into your Thanksgiving feast.
They sent me a Thanksgiving card. Isn't that nice of them?
Yeah, that was
like
nice.
Happy Thanksgiving from
They
the
asked me
American
for your
Dairy
address.
Association of Indiana.
I figured.
Oh, because they sent it to Schultz Media.
Okay.
Because I have a LLC mailbox. No big deal. Right downtown Indy. It's where all my business dealings go to. I chose the Wizards for the winner of the week. Is that weird?
Off
You
to a
mentioned
great
them on the
start.
show today.
Off to a great start. How'd you
On
know
the
that?
radio show. I listened to your show.
Well, thank you.
Unlike you, I support all of the ventures that you have in life.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the track form dorks, but I do try to listen to you on IndyCar Radio too. I'm not that into it. Washington 7-3 this month. They lead their division, and really kind of out of nowhere, right? I mean, Bradley Beal's a star, sure, but really outside of that, it's a bunch of Lakers cast-offs. It's like Kuzma and Harrell and those guys, and really kind of a bunch of guys that you've never
Harrell's having a
heard
good
of.
year.
Spencer Dinwiddie. It's
Is Aaron Holiday there?
yeah. It's kind of a weird, like, hodgepodgey sort of roster, but they're winning. The over-under for wins for them this year was just 33.5. So even the fact that they're already at 11 is pretty good for them. So, I don't know. Good for the Wizards.
Minus Jonathan Taylor because he had 185 yards on the ground.
Well, let's just give him
A
every
receiving touchdown and 5 touchdowns.
I like to kind of expand my horizons when it comes to
This milk is so good.
awards and all of that. We got to wrap up the show next. We're going to do it with Bite or Bull Bleep. We still got our Love That Play to get to as well. So we will bid you adieu in our final segment next here on Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
It's here. The moment that will define you. So think of this moment as your moment. The one you've been waiting for. You were built for it. And so were we. WGU, the online university where ambition never rests.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Welcome back to Query and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network. My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz. Time now to talk about one of our favorite sponsors, Love Heating and Air Conditioning. Folks, they've been around for over 100 years in central Indiana. And how do you last that long? Well, it's very simple. Great product, knowledge of product, commitment to customer service, integrity. Those are just a sample of the things you're going to get with Love Heating and Air Conditioning. Love-HVAC.com is their website, 317-353-2141. I have known Chris and John Love my entire life, literally. And, well, I met him when I was 7. That's pretty much my entire life, right, Derek?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
40-plus years.
So I would, listen, folks, I want to make sure if you are watching this program or listening to us, I'm very appreciative of it, so I don't want to send you down the wrong path, and I would not do that when it comes to things like your air conditioning or your furnace, especially this time of year, which are so important. So Love Heating and Air Conditioning, absolutely 100%. I'm thrilled to partner with them to be able to give you the customer service and the things necessary to keep your house warm, for example, for the course of the wintertime. And they bring us our Love That Play, our favorite play of the weekend. Derek?
This was a great one, and I'm not just saying this because it was on our network, but Jake Morrison there knows what play I'm talking about because I think he was – actually, I think Greg Mash was running that game. But we had 4 events at Marion University, ISC Sports Network did over the weekend. They won all 4. It was a regular season women's basketball game and then 3 NAIA playoff games. But the football team, which as many people know is a national champion NAIA football program, and they're ranked again this year in the playoffs like they are every year, has a player named Ben Stevens who had this – you know how often guys try to hurdle people and it ends up looking real stupid?
Yeah.
But when it really hits, it looks great. You need to look up this play.
Do you have the play? It was on your air.
Well, yeah, I guess I should have come prepared for that. I could play it on my phone.
Can we not edit that in?
Can we just focus? Well, I guess we could, but we're already making Jake edit all this other stuff. So here, I'll show you on my
I'm
phone.
Look through the window here, Jake. How hard is it on a?
I'll show you on my phone.
1 to 5 scale, 5 being the most, 1 being the least. How hard is it to post edit in the play that he's talking about?
Here's my IG.
Not hard, right?
Yeah. Okay, but I want you to see it because it's pretty incredible. Wait, hold on.
But Derek, the folks at home want to see it.
Yeah, but I want you to see it because I don't think you've seen it. And our buddy Scott McCauley on the call.
Okay. He's rolling. There's a pass. Okay, there we go.
And then he scores. So I think the most impressive part of it is he leapt over the dude, and then he stayed on his feet, shook off another tackler, and then dove for the pylon.
The extension for the touchdown is good.
So that's the play of the week for me, for Ben Stevens.
That probably does trump Jonathan Taylor's
Danville kid, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Was a star at Danville and now a star at Marion University.
Are we doing Bud or Bull Schultz?
Well, yeah. What do you think?
Okay, well, I don't know.
I mean, are we doing Query and Schultz? I don't know. You want to just unplug the whole thing? My wife said that over the weekend.
What?
She's like, why does Jake keep doing your stupid show? And I said, A, it's not stupid, and B, he's doing it because he loves it.
That's true.
Because we're best friends.
Did she really ask that?
Yeah.
Why?
She said, aren't you worried about Jake saying, like, I don't feel like doing your dumb show anymore? He has a real job, doesn't he? I'm like, honey, like... Well, yeah, he does, but he likes doing the show.
I do like doing it.
It made me sad because then I thought, wait, is he really going to leave me just one day? I mean, you've already dumped me, so there's nothing worse than, I've already been cheated on, I guess.
So your wife, I want to dive a little deeper into this real quick. Your wife seemed to have the notion in her mind that it would have made sense for me to bail on you as soon as I had another option?
Yeah.
Is that of concern to you?
Yeah, it should be. It should be concerning.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. She's not going to – like I said, I have my own mailbox for my media brand. I mean, you'd be crazy to leave that. Plus –
yeah,
right?
okay.
Look at this.
Uh-huh.
It's the complete package.
Okay. Bite or Bull Schultz is brought to you by The Shop Indy. That's theshopindy.com. Excellent time of year for holiday gifts. Whether you're talking about Athletes, your favorite athletes like Kenny Moore of the Colts, for example, or the name, image, likeness that is available for different athletes from Purdue, Indiana, Ball State, you name it. Retro shirts of Indianapolis lore, stores from yesteryear, all of it, and fabulous quality shirts, might I add. All available from theshopindy.com or on Broad Ripple Avenue, just across from the new Union Jack location, or also at Clay Terrace in Carmel. Derek makes a statement, and then we determine whether I buy it or I think it's Bull Schultz.
Ready?
Yep.
Statement 1, the Colts will win a playoff game this season.
Buy it.
Buy it or Bobley?
They're going to have to get in first, but if they get in, I think they'll win.
That's the thing.
I think they're going to win a. Yes, buy it.
What would be the Vegas odds on that? Because you'd have to put them in the playoffs, and then they have to win. Plus 400? 4 to right around there. 4 plus 3.
Yeah,
plus 350. I don't know. Am I being too kind because
I'm
they're
not
coming
an
off
odds
their best
maker.
performance of the season?
I'm not an odds maker, but it seems to me like if they're going to get in the playoffs, then I think their odds of winning a game are. It's almost
too.
like it's harder for them to get there.
I would agree with that, but they still have to finish 4-2 most likely. And this is not an easy slate. I mean, you have Jacksonville and Houston, but every other game that you face are opponents that are going to be playing for the playoffs, and some of them are really good. I don't know. Maybe we were fooled with Buffalo. Buffalo's been kind of weird this year, right?
Yeah.
They lost to Pittsburgh, who's kind of They lost to Jacksonville. They scored 6 points. Somebody said that they think that Josh Allen may be the new Carson Wentz, where you crown him right away because you're like, hey, look at this guy. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. He's good, but he's not that good.
That's possible. I think also, Derek, an NFL season, there's so many ebb and flows, man, where
I
you're
agree.
like,
Yeah.
it's very rare that you have a team that's the Peyton Manning Colts. You look at it and you're like,
Yeah,
they were
right.
clearly one of the best teams all season long. Arizona has been really good, but outside of
That's
that,
like
it's
Yeah.
very peak and valley.
And even Tampa. I mean, we can say definitively that Tampa's really good, but they're definitely beatable.
Yeah, they are.
I'll say Bobley for now, but I'm increasingly thinking that this is going to be a playoff team, whereas I thought, 2-3 weeks ago it was a real long shot.
Call me crazy. We talked about it earlier. The division, there's a small glimmer of hope, even with the division.
You need Tennessee to do what they did yesterday twice more.
You're right. There's a small glimmer, though. The door was. I thought the door was
not really.
The door was shut a few weeks ago on the division, but it wasn't nailed shut.
I think we can have a conversation about that if Tennessee loses another. Oh my God, they lost that game again. I think you need
Tennessee's
at least
schedule
one more.
is pretty favorable.
Yeah, you need at least one more of those. But again, Jake, Tennessee doesn't scare you. Baltimore could just as easily right now be 3-8 or 3-7. I mean, have they trailed every game that they've played this year?
Yeah.
It sure feels like it.
No, you're right. You're right.
I mean, you talk about a team getting all the breaks. My God, it feels like they've gotten every single break possible. There's no reason why the Colts, the Patriots, the Bengals, there's no reason why any of those teams can't go all the way to the Super Bowl.
Bengals?
Yeah.
It's the Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals.
No, the Bengals are a band. Walk Like an Egyptian.
The Go-Go's you're thinking
Manic
of.
Monday. No, the Go-Go's were Our Lips Are Sealed and Vacation. That's the Go-Go's. Bengals
was Love Shack.
No, that's B-52s.
Love Shack.
Yeah, that's
is a little
B-52s from
place
Athens,
where
Georgia.
We can get
Yeah,
together.
I know the song, but that's B-52s.
They even mentioned that they're the Bengals at some point in that show, don't they?
No.
Love Shack, baby. Bengals, baby.
Okay.
I thought there was something in there.
Yeah.
Statement 2, Alabama doesn't deserve playoff consideration
They
with a
say,
second
bang,
loss.
Bang, bang, on the door, baby.
How about this?
Knock a little louder, sugar.
Let me throw something at you. What if Alabama loses to Auburn and beats Georgia? I think they're in.
If they lose to Auburn, are they still in the SEC title game?
They're in. They've already clinched the SEC West. Yeah.
That's a good question.
I think they have a much better chance of getting in that scenario than they do losing to Georgia. I think if they lose to Georgia, they're out.
You think if Alabama loses to Georgia, they're out?
Yeah.
What if it's close? Overtime.
Doesn't matter. I think they're out. I think if you can say I'm the SEC champion, like Auburn did that, where Auburn went to the SEC championship game and beat Alabama, and had 2 losses, and they made the playoff, right? Didn't they? Am I making?
I don't
that
think
up?
Auburn's been in the playoff.
Auburn. Oh, I think what they played in the SEC championship game and lost to Georgia. If they would have beaten Georgia in the SEC championship game, they would have gone
And that
with
was the
2
year
losses.
Georgia went and
yes,
yeah.
that's what I'm thinking of. That's the year that Georgia lost to Alabama.
Right, when
3 years ago.
Tua came in and threw
Yep.
the yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So what was the question you just asked?
Alabama doesn't deserve playoff consideration with a second loss. How I would answer that is it depends on what the second loss is.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't buy it. Or
If the second loss is close in the SEC title game to Georgia, I think
you would have to. You would need probably
just look fabulous.
If you're Alabama, you would. There's no way a 2-loss Alabama would go over undefeated Cincinnati. No way.
I would agree.
We could talk about 1-loss teams going over Cincinnati.
I think a 2-loss Alabama.
2-loss Alabama would not go over.
2-loss Alabama would be. They would be. I mean, Georgia, Ohio State, and Cincinnati would be in.
Yeah. 2-loss Alabama would have to hop Notre Dame. Which
yeah, it would be.
you can make an argument.
You would be
for.
having the discussion of 2-loss Alabama and a few 1-loss teams.
Yeah. Well, maybe just one 1-loss team. Notre Dame might be. If the Big 12 team split, you'd only have one 1-loss team left. That's how chaotic college football has been this year. You only have a handful of teams that even just have 1 loss.
You think a 1-loss Big 12 champion Oklahoma State would get in?
I think a 1-loss Big 12 champion Oklahoma State would get in over Notre Dame because of the conference championship.
That may be right.
But 2-loss Alabama with no SEC championship, I don't think would jump 1-loss Notre Dame.
That's fair.
And people would get mad about it
That's
because that's just what people do. Statement 3, Thanksgiving food actually kind of sucks. Buy it or bowl bleep?
I would have said buy it 100% when I was a kid. I think now that I've gotten older, just kind of the home comfort food feel to it. Beets suck and cranberries suck, but everything else is pretty good.
It's so boring. Mashed potatoes are so boring. I've never liked mashed potatoes.
But
gravy's so boring.
Turkey's
so boring
cream
and dry.
pudding or corn pudding.
The desserts are good. Like
what about
the
corn
pies?
pudding?
Yeah, I like that corn casserole thing
right.
that my mom makes. Do you call it corn pudding? That's really good.
Yeah,
I love green bean casserole. I love green beans. That's really about it. I'm always envious of the families that do I had Italian friends back home that would make seafood, or I have friends that do mac and cheese. I wish we had that.
Pumpkin
for our
pie?
Thanksgiving. No, I don't like pumpkin pie.
I don't know anybody that likes pumpkin.
I like
pie.
apple, cherry. I like basically any other pie.
How about pecan pie?
Yeah, I do. I don't usually like nuts, but the glaze of it I love.
The glaze is good.
Yeah.
They should make just something that's just the glaze stuff.
I know you've talked about this.
Yeah, the pecans and the crust. Nah.
I don't know. The crust is always good, right?
Or do you like?
I mean, if I pooed in it or something, then it wouldn't be good. But I would eat crust with just about anything outside of feces. That I would eat crust with. Maybe not mayo.
Your wife might have been onto something.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
She doesn't understand how bright my star shines. I think that's I love Ashley, and we have a great relationship, but I think she generally shoots down my feelings about how important the show is, or I am, or
is this before or after
Twitter following?
Is this before or after you're talking about bodily function?
What were we talking about before? We were talking about pies, I thought. We were talking about that. I was talking about how good crust was, so I made an analogy that apparently you couldn't handle, kind of like horseradish. Kind of the same thing. I want to tell you about our friends at Only Indy Tickets. Sorry, every single sponsor.
Big game coming up.
Every single sponsor gets a bad segue where it's from poo or whatever else. Huge one. This is really a big week because you have the 2 most hated professional athletes in America both coming to Indianapolis.
That's right.
You have LeBron on, I think, Wednesday, right? The Lakers will be here. Second night of a back-to-back. So, well, LeBron's not going to play. I want a refund. Hopefully we don't have that. Well, yeah, that too. We're taping this on Monday, so he may have already been. But Tom Brady as well coming in with the Bucks. Hottest ticket of the year for the Colts. Go to onlyindytickets.com.
Indy Tickets.
You want to save a little money? Here, actually, 2 great reasons to use onlyindytickets.com. Sign up for their newsletter, and they'll tell you all of the great events, so you'll stay in the know for everything that's going on, right, at onlyindytickets.com. And you get $20 off your first ticket purchase. So $20 in your pocket there. Plus, every single Colts ticket this year, 5% of the proceeds go directly to the Children's Bureau, which is a cause that is both close to our hearts. So charitable, and you'll save a couple of dollars and get a great value, and 100% guaranteed at onlyindytickets.com.
Onlyindytickets.com.
Yep.
All right.
Great place. So search out all your tickets there.
You going Connecticut for Thanksgiving?
No, why would I? Everybody's
I don't
here
know.
now.
Do you not have
Everyone's here. Well, my sister's still out there, but everybody else is here. So we're doing my mom's place in Carmel.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Dorothy's coming down.
It's your dad's place, too.
Well, yep, my dad's place, too. Yeah. I'm actually going to bring him some of the St. Elmo Cola. We sneak it in the basement.
What do you mean?
Don't tell your mom. She's going to get all mad. It's like, Dad, we're just having one drink. Like, it's not like we're pounding shots or anything, but we did it on ice.
How do you sneak it in the basement?
Well, I take it in with James's backpack with his toys, and then at least this is what I did last year, and then took it down in the basement, and there's a TV down there, so we watch football or whatever else, and pour it on the rocks, and my mom never comes down there. That's like my dad's space.
And what does he say again?
Don't tell her. I'm gonna get angry. She's gonna bust my chops about it.
Okay.
Yeah. He's good, man. He's in his 70s now, so he knows how to play the game when it comes to that.
Okay.
And thanks to Bryn and everybody at St. Elmo for bringing in Joey Chestnut, making the drive up here for that St. Elmo Shrimp Cocktail Eating Contest, December, what is it, the 4th? It's next
week
Saturday.
from Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, 3 p.m. if you want to check that out.
It's a great time of year.
StElmo.com. The Shop Indy, WGU Indiana, Chateau Kitchens, Bailey and Wood Financial Group. Who else am I missing? Oh, IMCU, Love Heating and Cooling.
You said Chateau Kitchens?
Yeah.
American Dairy Association
Indiana. And our friends Jake Morris and Sean Walker pinch hitting today with all of his conspiracy weirdo theories.
That's right.
But it's been fun. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on Query and Schultz. Have a great Thanksgiving and have a great week, guys.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score!
Meet Kate. She has a lot to juggle. Family, work, it can lead to trying days and tired nights. But we know Kate, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know at some point her space at a premium life may change. IMCU is here to help Kate and you find your space. Now, add on or remodel with an introductory rate of 1.9% APR on a home equity line of credit. Today, it's all about Kate. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
It's here. The moment that will define you. So think of this moment as your moment. The one you've been waiting for. You were built for it. And so were we. WGU, the online university where ambition never rests.
Hey, I'm Jeff Saturday, and my favorite thing when I was a professional football player was Indiana. The Hoosier State always made me feel like family. That's why I trust Indiana's hometown mortgage lender, Bailey & Wood. This family-owned company not only gives back to the communities they serve, but also with their 5-star customer service, they can close on your dream home in days, not weeks. So remember, Indiana, you can always get your mortgages at a snap with Bailey & Wood.
Hey, Jeff, how does this look? Yay!
Not bad, bud, but let's stick to mortgages.
Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Throw it up for Tillman. Whoa, my goodness.
122.60 for Penn.
What a swim. Six of them.
High school football fans, welcome back to Friday nights, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
Food, shelter, fast Wi-Fi. It's all we really need. Good thing Endeavor has the fast, reliable internet it takes to power all the Wi-Fi hungry gadgets in your home. All at once. With speeds up to 10 gig, get smooth HD streaming video, gaming, music, and surfing, all with no waiting, no buffering, no kidding. Call or click WeEndeavor.com and upgrade to Indiana's fastest internet today.